What if I told you that one of the fastest growing sports in the world doesn't take place in a stadium, but online? Welcome to the world of esports, where top players battle it out not on the field, but in the digital arena. From adrenaline-pumping moments in games like League of Legends, Counter-Strike, Dota 2, and Valorant, to massive crowds both in person and streaming online. Esports is changing the way we think about competitive sports. But how did it get here, and what's fueling its rise to global fame? Welcome to nerdsection.com. First things first, what is esports? In its simplest form, esports is professional competitive gaming, but don't let the word gaming fool you. This isn't just a bunch of people playing for fun. It's intense, it's strategic, and it's taken just as seriously as any traditional sport. And yes, the stakes are incredibly high. We're talking prize pools in the millions of dollars, sponsorship deals with major brands, and audiences that rival, and sometimes even surpass, major sporting events like the Super Bowl or Wimbledon. But how did this all start? It wasn't always this big. The origins of esports date back to the early days of video games, with small tournaments held in arcades and college campuses. Fast forward to the 2000s, and the explosion of the internet, combined with live streaming, turned competitive gaming into a global phenomenon, and suddenly, gaming was no longer just a hobby, it was a career. Now let's talk about the leagues that power esports. If you're familiar with traditional sports, you've got the NBA for basketball and FIFA for soccer. However, esports has its own governing bodies and leagues. One of the most prominent? ESL, the Electronic Sports League. Founded in 2000, ESL hosts some of the biggest tournaments in the world, covering games like Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, Dota 2, and Rainbow Six Siege. ESL's tournaments are legendary, attracting millions of viewers and the best players from around the globe. But ESL is just one piece of the puzzle. There's also the League of Legends Championship Series, where top teams from North America face off in the wildly popular League of Legends. Then you've got the Dota 2 International, which holds the record for some of the biggest prize pools in esports history. We're talking over $40 million. And don't forget Overwatch League, Call of Duty League, and the rising star of the esports world, Valorant Champions Tour. Each of these leagues has its own structure, regular seasons, playoffs, and grand finals, much like traditional sports. But what sets them apart is the global accessibility. You don't need a cable subscription or season tickets to watch. All you need is an internet connection. Question: where can you watch esports? Unlike most traditional sports, esports lives primarily online, and that's one of its greatest strengths. Platforms like Twitch and YouTube Gaming are the go-to destinations for esports fans. Twitch, owned by Amazon, is where most tournaments are streamed live. You can watch your favorite players and teams battle it out in real time, complete with commentary, live chat, and fan interactions. Some games and tournaments even air on ESPN or other major sports networks, further proving how mainstream esports has become. Want more options? Each game often has its own dedicated streaming hub. For instance, Riot Games, the developer behind League of Legends and Valorant, streams their tournaments directly on their platforms. Meanwhile, Overwatch League and Call of Duty League have exclusive deals with YouTube Gaming, giving them millions of viewers. But it's not just about watching. The esports community is incredibly active on social media. X, Reddit, and Discord are where fans and players come together, discuss strategies, celebrate victories, and yes, argue over those clutch moments. Now, if you're thinking, this sounds cool, but how do I actually get into esports as a fan? Here's the best part, you can start today for free. With major tournaments happening year-round, there's always something exciting going on. Jump onto Twitch, check out the schedules for the biggest events like ESL, the LCS, or Valorant Champions, and get immersed in the hype. You don't need to be a pro gamer to appreciate the skill, teamwork, and dedication it takes to win at the highest level. And if you're more interested in joining the competitive side, well, the barrier to entry is lower than ever. Many of the top players started out by simply playing at home, honing their skills, and joining amateur tournaments. With esports scholarship programs and collegiate leagues on the rise, the path from gamer to pro is more accessible than you might think. Esports is much more than just playing video games. It's a thriving, rapidly growing world with leagues that rival traditional sports, massive tournaments with jaw-dropping prize pools, and a fan base that's truly global. Are you ready to dive in? Check out our video on the top 10 most realistic video games. You might find your next masterpiece.